I'm Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast, where I share with you marketing and sales strategies that are anything but pushy, salesy, and sleazy, so that you can build and feel good about the way you're building a life and a business you love, even during COVID-19. So this episode is really short, but also really important. And the reason why it's really short, and that's a benefit, is because what I want you to do is one very distinct action afterward, and then I want you to go to your calendar and block off one 3-block period of time and get busy. So here we go. This episode is brought to you by the Flipping 50 Fitness Specialist, the first and the only hormone balancing exercise certificate that gives you continuing education for learning the method and systems used by Flipping 50 for over 8 years to help over 150,000 women flip 50 by changing the exercise prescription game from conventional, traditional, and even, yes, functional to a hormone balancing included intake form so that you can make women feel better, not worse. And if you're working with women in midlife and you're frustrated because you're not getting the results, or you are a woman in midlife, you and I are also not excluded from the throes of hormone ups and downs. But when you know how to respond to them, you know what your body is messaging you when you have those signs and symptoms, you too can feel better and tell your clients you've walked the talk and you're in the boat rowing with them. And they love that. The link will be fitnessmarketingmastery.com/programs. And right now is the absolute best time to run right over there if you're at all interested. And you'll find out why once you're there. Okay, so let's dive into this episode. If you are tempted to buy marketing templates that take care of your newsletters and your social media posts, stop. Unless you want to donate money to the seller, that is. Because here's why it will never get you results. Really what you're doing by doing that is checking off a box. You've told yourself, I know I need to be writing a newsletter regularly. I know I need to be posting on social media regularly. And you're just saying, I don't have time to do that. So check. I'm going to get those templates. I'm going to buy those marketing templates and I'm done. It'll be easy. Take me less time. But here's the deal. Are they getting you any results, right? Here's why it will never get you those results, especially since the world has changed in March of 2020. And I think you know what I'm talking about. It's not the quotes, the posts themselves. It's not that something is wrong with them. It's the lack of you in them. Y-O-U. It's the lack of you using analytics that are free, by the way, on every social media platform that kills your social media marketing. No one is you. If you're given a template, you've taken personal training and already watered it down. Personal training that is about the uniqueness of an individual client and their flexibility, mobility, strength, endurance, their alignment, their daily repetitive movements, and their postures and their goals should also be about the optimal match between the client and the unique trainer, aka you. You're unique in your why you're doing this. Why are you a personal trainer and not a plumber? Why are you a personal trainer and not a vet? You're unique in your education and your credentials, meaning your certification, but other things that define you and your life. You're unique in your life history and your work history. You're unique in your brand. Marketing templates that give you the same quote cards and memes, even articles, even subject lines for your newsletters and emails, even the images to use as any other trainer make you lost in the sea of hundreds of thousands of trainers pouring content online. Listen, let me give you an example. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago now, but I was training 3 trainers from all over the world, actually. One from Canada, one from Australia, and one from one of those states in the Midwest. I think Ohio. I'm from a state in the Midwest. I should get this right. But 2 out of 3 of them were using the same templates. So when I'm working with a trainer or a business owner, I subscribe to their email list. I want to get the emails that their customers get. I want to have that experience that they get. And the experience I got was just like blah, 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 blah. The subject lines were almost identical, and the article inside identical, very little changes. And, then the other minor things that were slightly different were just pushing programs. That's 2 people from 2 different parts of the world. And I think we have to be realistic to think that, I'm going to believe that if someone is subscribed to my email newsletter, they're probably subscribed to another fitness professional's newsletter. And we had better not be the same. We had better be very distinctly different. And the only way you can make sure that's true is to write your own content. It's not as hard as you think. What's happening right now is that there are a few that are good, really connecting, and they're standing out. You can still find room to stand out too, because very few fitness professionals are going to do this. What you do need is a system. You need a style guide, and you need a way to create blog posts that don't take you 8 hours like many other well-researched articles can. You want to know how to generate SEO for gaining traffic organically before you ever spend money on advertisements. So let me back up a step. First of all, what is a style guide, you might be saying? And a style guide is essentially something that lays out everything that you believe in and all the details about how somebody would represent your brand on social media. So if they were going to represent your brand in an image or with fonts, what font would it be? What color would it be? What images do you use? Meaning, what type of images? So let's say you were going to take a picture of an ice cream cone, and I was going to take a picture of an ice cream cone. In a style guide, you're going to tell somebody who's picking a photography or a photograph for you, or who is a photographer, you're going to tell them exactly how to pick a picture that would represent your brand. Meaning, is it always a close-up with a blurry background? Is it always an image of something with a white background? Is it always something extremely clear with a distinct background that's very colorful? I mean, any of those could be right answers, but you need to have an answer to that question. For instance, need to have a list of things that is like, every time food is photographed, here's what has to be true for it to be our on-brand kind of photography. That makes it easy for an intern, a student, a new employee, your sister, to go through some photographs and pick out something that would work for you. So there are lots of people right now with time on their hands. There may be people in your business that you're paying who aren't doing anything, who could do these kinds of things, but they can only do them if you have some kind of a brand. So likewise, if you're taking pictures of yourself, demonstrating photographs, or you're taking pictures of other people in your business, their faces, their happy faces as they're working out or exercising or living their lives, there needs to be some kind of genuine feel to the photograph so that someone getting familiar enough with you and your work, who was scrolling through their timeline and saw an image, they would almost be able to say, oh, that's them. right? So make it distinct. That's the kind of thing that's in a style guide. When it comes to the kind of thing you write, so I include in my style guide everything. Things about what fonts do I use? Like generally you're going to have 3 fonts, so things for big, bold headlines, for kind of the semi sub headline, and then for smaller text types of things. You're going to have different fonts for that. That keeps it interesting, but also keeping them the same from each image, newsletter, photograph, social media text makes you branded. People can identify with it right away. You also want to have that kind of same instruction for people who write for you. And maybe you're first doing this for yourself, but you want to write like, what's the voice? Like, what is our voice? Is it edgy? Is it slang? Is it very casual? Is it very formal? And I would tell you this, that in 2020, especially right now, the more conversational you make the way you write, the more you will be connected to customers. People are starving for connection right now. Even the ones who are out in public not wearing their masks. Okay, enough said. You get the idea. So all things should go in a style guide. If somebody were going to write a blog post and have it sound as close to you wrote that, what would that be like? What's your voice? What's your length of sentences? How many sentences do you put in a paragraph? What kind of quotes do you like? Who do you quote? Who would you never quote? What do you talk about? What would you never talk about? All of those types of things could go in a style guide. So I know it's probably going to sound open-ended, like there's tons of things that could go in there. But right now, put the most important things in there. And if you want help, I created how to create a style guide. It's a quick start guide that'll walk you through, here's the things to think about. Get this skeleton done. You can always add to it. You can always come back to it. But someone who had to take over your marketing because you ran out of time, because you had so many customers, you had to do other things, great problem. You want them to be able to do it in a way that stands for your brand very easily. And as far as the blog post, I can help you with that too. So you want to figure out, how do I create a template for a blog post so that I can write bullet points? What do I want to include in this based on, here's my topic. What kind of images might you want to include? Where might you find references scientific references that you can include? And do you have any other similar articles, blogs, or podcasts on your website that you can link to? So those internal links to things you already have there, and the external links to outside science and research, that helps your SEO. So you want to do all of those things. I've got some help for you with a 5-minute blog post guidebook too. So all things that you want to know how to do. The shortcuts right now to anything: better social media, better emails, better blog posts, or writing content in the first place. The shortcuts right now are the work every day. So it's true, my friend, you will work harder. You will not have it handed to you. And it's also true that you will sustain your career by rolling up your sleeves. It's the best way. I will add a link in this very short episode for both the style guide and for the 5-minute blog posts. How do you write them? If you don't have content on your website right now, either in the form of podcasts or blogs, and I would highly suggest your podcasts, you either have the transcript done or you write a blog first, as I often do, and then record a podcast from it. I would highly suggest, if you don't have that kind of content on your website, that you start with the 5-minute blog posts. I'm going to link to that here, but don't go get both the style guide and the blog post guidebook, because then you won't start either. Go get the blog post support first and then block off 3 hours. Create 6 to 8 blog posts of at least a minimum of 300 words, because that's kind of the line where it helps your SEO. Give each a scientific reference and an internal link on your website, and don't ask a blog reader to buy something in your blog. Ask them to leave a comment or a question. Ask them to follow you on social media. Do something small. Just get them to follow you, to come back. Give them juicy content. When you have the right actions and the right sequences, you will create a business that will last. There you have it. Why not to buy those marketing templates, and why to create your own style guide and 5-minute blog posts by creating your own sense of template and system for getting things done. Just get them done better. What are you waiting for? The world needs your help right now more than ever.